Welcome, dear faithful, to the podcast that dives deep into the sabotage, betrayal, and murder of the current season of the Traitors. We are your Trader Joes. Hey, Joes.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
How's the zoo today over there at the Austin office?
Oh, the zoo is bumping today.
The zoo is bumping today, bro.
Oh,
Safari day, bitch.
Yeah. Queens are wild, animals are wild.
What's your Joe today? Are you guys having any Joe?
I'm having a tea Joe today. Just a nice tea Joe.
We've already
local
discussed my
establishment.
mug, my HRC charity mug.
Sweet
I'm having
tea Joe.
I'm having a gut healthy blend. It's important to have the one thing that the Joes believe in is to have a happy gut.
A POG. I heard that on the pod this week.
Personal gut. No, I'm we have a local tea bar and he does all of the tea blends, and this one is like spearmint, peppermint. In honor.
Oh, that's right. There it is.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Oh my God. But you know what? Because there was so much that happened in this episode, so many important things that happened.
Format changes.
Sudden format changes.
Let's talk about this episode. Before we get started, we're gonna start with obviously the flashback and then into breakfast. Just overall thoughts about this episode, real quick, because I have an opinion.
I wish it would not have changed the format. I feel like the twist was not needed at this time. That's my gut.
I totally agree. I wish that this twist happened when there were less people, almost maybe, or it didn't happen at all.
Yeah.
Just because I felt like they ramped up so much to getting rid of Dan finally, that this episode felt like such a stopping point. It felt such a halt in the momentum that it was disappointing.
I didn't mind the episode, actually. I mean, I have opinions about whether it was planned or not, or the motivations, but I thought I was very engaged and invested in this episode, and so I didn't mind it.
I do wonder if they didn't have a backup plan if he said no. That's kind of what I think.
It could be it.
Saving some time, buying some time.
Buying some time. We're like, well, we got to stretch out to 10 episodes somehow. It's better to have more in the can.
Yeah. Yep.
So you think it was rigor mortis?
I think it was some ground intervention. I don't know.
It would have been way worse if it was.
It would have been way worse
Yeah.
if this was a CBS venture. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it could have been like what happens if the recruit says yes or no, and then this is like a it was like an A or a B path, and maybe it didn't play out. I don't know, but I was like really into the episode, especially the final section, which we're going to talk about, of course.
Totally.
I thought it was fine.
All right.
All right,
Well, then let's jump in.
Okay.
Take it away, Jeff.
Well, so we get our Traitors flashback, turret flashback.
Last time on the
Traitors.
Previously on the Traitors.
Proposition Peter to join them in the turret based on Parvati's desires. And we hear from Peter, and he said no. He doesn't want to. So Alan comes into the turret, and this is Faye's reaction.
Yeah. It's like,
Can we get one of those reset buttons from?
Oh my God, the Big Brother reset.
The Big
button.
Brother reset button. I swear, we
needed it right here.
And you know what, Phaedra was right.
And when Janelle left, obviously.
Phaedra was totally right though. She was like, "Well, Parvati, this is your fucking fault.
This is your doing.
So now you gotta deal with it."
You were already in the ICU.
Yeah, she tells Parvati
the prognosis is not good.
It's not good, girl.
She tells Parvati, "Okay, we'll see what the reaction's at breakfast tomorrow, but this could be your last meal."
Yes.
Phaedra tells her. So
fucking Phaedra.
Which I'm pretty sure I said in one of the last turrets we watched, where Phaedra's strategy is to watch other people take the bigger risk
Absolutely.
And if they fumble, they're gonna fumble first. So again,
we see a lot of Phaedra's strategy playing out, like the way she interacts with people in this episode.
Totally,
there are
totally.
a few key points where you see her just kind of like playing, oh, I'm like not dumb, but kind of like I'm dumb, right?
I'm not in the
I'm not a gamer, right? Like
I'm not in the loop.
yeah,
Yes.
she acts a little like clueless.
Yes.
Right? And you know, she's very
Bringing it back.
Yeah, clueless. I wish she's very intentional about the way she's acting around these people. But
Totally.
so the next day we go to breakfast, and Phaedra and her little Burgalicious are the first.
Oh,
in.
I have thoughts about Burgalicious in this
Oh my
episode.
gosh.
Girl.
They're giving. Here is another example of where sending Phaedra and Bergie in for Burgalicious first to breakfast is another example of them giving Phaedra the show.
Totally.
Absolutely.
They're handing it to
That's
her.
all I'm gonna say.
It's kind of like handing because if she pulls it off, it would be such a great story, right? To end it with like another traitor persevering, and it's someone that you didn't expect.
And,
So
and like the final two are like Burgalicious and Sheree. That would
my
be so
God.
good.
Could you imagine?
What a show.
So, you know, they get seated, they take their seats at the far end of the room to watch everyone come in, as you do when you're the first in. And then Sheree, Kate, and MJ file in next. Then, you know, Bergie is kind of talking about like, hey, we got Dan, a traitor, and now we're kind of back to square one. And with the group, and you see Phaedra reacting to this, being like, "No, let's not talk about this. Like, let's just have our breakfast and move on from Dan." So this is certainly the episode of Phaedra's reactions.
Yeah, Phaedra is. You know what? Now I will take back a little bit of what I said earlier. Maybe this episode it does pay off in that thing of like we're seeing some inner workings play out. Obviously, we'll see someone also very important that we'll see like finally they connect pieces together. But it is nice to just kind of see how people are these more internal scenes that I think in the first season we complained a lot about how like I didn't know people were friends. I didn't know this or that, and that we are getting that played out a little bit more here.
That's a good point. We do kind of know more about the dynamics this season and how people are split.
There's
between
way
groups.
more outside the show chatter
Well,
too.
that too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
which we're really getting filled,
I
like
mean-
episode by episode, we're getting kind of filled in.
Bits.
But last season there weren't as many people who were already personalities with big followings.
Yeah.
They just this week
And
they
big
just had, like,
relationships.
they had like another big round of press this week, so everybody was back together. We're getting all these micro interviews, so there's just like more fodder out there, I think, too. So we're just getting a lot more color.
Yeah.
So we keep going, and you know they're still talking about Parvati's name at breakfast. No one is talking about Phaedra, you know, and no one's reacting to Dan even throwing her name out at this breakfast. So you know, then you get CT, Parv, Sandra come in, Peter and John come in. I guess Peter says he's got something to tell John later.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna talk to you later.
Very specific that it's John.
So I think this is where we probably sense that Peter's not gonna make it known publicly or to the whole group that
He's
he
gonna
was
use it.
recruited. Yeah.
So the last two to enter are Trishelle and Kevin, and then everyone quickly realizes that
No murder.
no one has been murdered.
Again.
Again. So they immediately are like, okay,
Yeah.
someone was recruited.
Who
Great.
got recruited? They ask people to like raise your hand if you got recruited. No one reacts.
Shockingly.
Yeah. And then our dear friend Alan walks in a fresh new look.
It is giving like Curious George, the man in yellow, but like in green. Something about it feels very cartoon.
It's a little Rushmore. Except for the little thing, you know, the bow you would call it.
It's like an ascot.
Yeah, it's an ascot.
Maybe
I
it's a
think
little.
ascot.
It's almost even a little like Chaplin-esque. Like there's something just very quaint about it.
Yes.
The like the beanie just propped on the head is I think what
know.
does it for me.
It's so cute. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
It's good.
Yeah. You know, Alan says he's not going to answer any questions about what did or did not happen. You're going to have to figure it out
I think it's very
your
obvious.
own.
Yeah.
And then we get kind of a hint of what's to come this episode. Alan says, if a reality star falls in the forest and there's no one to hear it, is there a sound?
Foreshadowing.
Wow. So
Poetry.
then, this is where Parvati says, like, who got recruited? What's going on? Peter tells us he has no plan to tell anyone about what's going on. You get a little bit of back and forth between Parv and Peter in this
Yes.
and this is the talking head where Parvati says that she has her predatory headband on and she's coming for that bachelor.
It's so funny. Her predatory head,
so good.
the meta theatric of like, I know
very
I'm
meta.
bringing headbands, right? And today, this is the headband I'm wearing.
At this point, the producers must have said, okay, like you can start talking about the headbands because it's such a thing.
The headbands are like
its own character.
Their own character. They are themed. This is a predatory headband. This is the one. So you're going in for the kill with this one.
Yeah, and just kind of setting up here with Parvati and Peter, Parvati's playing really overtly in this episode.
Yeah, it's like her only option. And it's very, if I was backed into a corner like Parvati, it is exactly what I would do too. Find the other person that is hot on my trail and just completely try and get everyone to turn around on him.
So what happens after breakfast?
So after breakfast, Peter gathers
this is so
his
good.
group. What was it called? Faithful
The
Five.
Sandra refers to them as the most faithful of the faithful. I call them the Faithful Five because it is an Olympic year. So.
Yes. I call them the nerd herd because
the
that
nerd
is
herd
the full
3.0.
energy. Everyone else was also feeling it on Twitter. It's like, it's giving nerd herd.
Very nerd.
So this is.
But the irony is that Janelle was a faithful.
I know.
So she would have been.
She probably would have been here. She was.
I think she said online, she's like, I was in there. I was in that group.
Yeah. Totally.
But at this point, if she's still been in, she probably would have been in the billiard room. But whatever.
Who knows? That's for another season. So, or the
Stars.
cruise, or the cruise.
Yes, the cruise.
Let's just because this is a Janelle podcast also. So do you know about the cruise?
Yes. It's basically like a bunch of people from first and second season, right?
Yeah, and we're going to go, you can be on my team. We're going to play, it's going to be like LARPing at sea.
Yes.
LARPing the Traitors at sea is like the subtitle. However, one of the first cast members to sell out their spots was Janelle.
Queen Janelle, absolutely.
Yeah, Sandra doesn't even have like a half of hers filled. We still love Sandra.
Yeah.
But here, who loves Janelle?
You.
The gays. Who loves a cruise?
Besides you.
The gays.
I mean,
so they filled up Janelle's spot.
If Janelle's sold out, I'll take Rachel.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Anyways, back to
not even just to play the game. I was just like, I want to be friends with you and Janelle.
I don't think I could actually do it though.
No.
There are other cruise simulation endeavors that have been discussed ad nauseum in this friend group.
Yeah.
Galactic Star Cruiser being one of them. And I would
seeing that
my stage proxy embarrassment would just overtake.
So no LARPing in your future.
No LARPing.
But if
just cruising.
If the Alan Chuck cruises come back.
Oh yes.
We'll go do that one.
What a
Alan and Chuck.travel.
Alan and Chuck.travel.com.
Wow. Well, this still exists. Okay, we'll find out after. But the group, Trishelle, Bergie, Kevin, John, they're kind of together. Peter kind of says I have a plan for the next couple of nights. I'm ready to go. Phaedra tries to enter this room and gets told to leave. So she goes back to the other room where the girlies are and says, "Hey, the Peter pals told me."
Peter pals.
That's what she calls them.
She doesn't miss a beat, and that's my
The Peter pals told me that I couldn't be there. So then they sent MJ. MJ's like, "I'm going over there. I'm gonna get it."
The MJ moment heard round the world.
First of all, what is she wearing? Jinko
Let's
jeans.
break it down.
Ed Hardy see-through shirt, and then her black rod.
It's like the shirts you wear as like a costume piece to
like
simulate
fake tattoos.
full tattoo
I know.
body, but like unironically with like a bra.
She is like pulling the jeans up and tiptoeing to not be like heard. I think I was confused why she was sneaking in.
This is like
sneaks in and then she gets told like leave, and then she pulls up her jeans like this and backs out of the room.
So ever so slowly.
This is giving like a Big Brother moment where the diary room like totally sets up like what to do, and I believe she did this fully on her own.
Yes,
and there are people who don't even watch Traitors clearly who are obsessed with this moment. I saw jokes about this being like the costume for 2024.
I know.
So like the gays are gonna do this, but with like short shorts. So stay tuned.
She fully became a main character this weekend.
Oh.
And it's crazy to watch a show and recap it at the same time because there's so much happening online now about it. And it's
there's like this discourse, the greater discourse. There's the people who are like watching us and talking to us about it.
Yeah. And people fully are like, who the fuck is this woman?
And we've been on her since she didn't believe that Dan was a traitor and turned on people. So, but we'll give her flowers.
MJ is on her redemption arc. That's
she
for sure.
What a moment.
What a moment.
So she backs out of the room and the conversation continues. And then Trishelle is like, we need to keep poverty.
Mm-hmm.
She shushes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Peter interrupts her and she shushes him. But she's like, you know, we have to go for Phaedra. I think Dan did this on purpose, right? You know, Phaedra has everyone on her side. CT is a swing. Sandra is a swing for that side. We have to go for Bravo, and Phaedra is the best shot.
Yeah.
Peter interrupts her and is like, no, poverty. Trishelle sticks to her guns and says, like, that's too risky.
Peter
Trishelle the gamer.
Trishelle the gamer is coming out, and Peter is so emasculated by Parvati. It's so fun to watch Parvati just like literally get in on where you know he is like getting so annoyed but can't because he's trying to be like the good guy. You know,
he got one thing right, and he is never getting off that horse. He's riding it all the way to the Mojo Dojo castle in
because
Scotland.
He's treating himself like he's like, I'm the king of the faithfuls. I am now the leader. I'm like, no,
I am their leader. I am the one who figured this out.
Yeah, it's like when he got Dan, I was like, okay, someone's gonna get
it. But
he's
everyone was
be
already
like
feeling
the new smart guy. But I think it was like he got lucky because he got onto the scent. But now, I mean, granted, he does think it's Parvati, and it's correct.
And it's correct. He is correct. But we all want Parvati to win. So
let us not get down on someone who's right.
It's hard.
Who's actually like achieving the goal of the game?
Yeah, it's hard to sit here and say like he's wrong because he's not.
Right. He's not wrong at all.
But the way he's going about
he's just doing it in a sucky way.
He's a mean girl.
He's a mean girl.
He is. He's just like, he's not humble about it, and I think that's why we don't like. And maybe I don't know. That's why we're not rooting for him, but we're not the only ones not rooting for him.
And he's also not doing it in a way where he's like bringing people to his side.
I know
he
is. Yes, right? Exactly.
He's excluding people.
Yes.
Which is putting people against him. That's
in a game that is about numbers and voting.
At the end.
Okay, next scene. Sandra.
You want to talk numbers?
You want to talk numbers,
comma, and the game. You better be in Sandra's room at that pool table.
Because Sandra in the billiards room with the crew.
Yes.
Sandra in the billiards room with the balls. So Sandra is like, come around the table. I'm going to tell you
she said,
what's going on.
Gather round, children. Let me tell you a story. I mean, it's like very like Joseph and like.
Yes, very. It's biblical.
It's very like gather. It's very
terrible.
RJ and I are having this moment, but he knows. It's like the opening.
Loaves and fishes, bitch. Yes, Jacob and Sons, honey.
Sandra and daughters. Sandra and her daughters.
And CT.
So you know, she says. She thinks Peter is a traitor at this point, and that he does more harm than good. She emphasizes to the group that it's a numbers game, right? So she says Peter's the boss. Peter's protected by Trishelle and Bergie. And then you've got John and Kevin over here kind of on their side. If a traitor's over here in this group, we on this side sitting here at the billiards table are screwed. So she's kind of very clearly explaining how the numbers need to work in this game, right? The group that's in this room at the billiards table has to get somebody out in the other room, or else the numbers are against them and they will be whittled away.
Yeah.
Because what she's like pointing out is that these things move like 2 at a time.
Yes.
So if like they don't take action right now, they could, between a banishment and a murder, because there's got to be a traitor in that group.
Then they're already down numbers. Yeah.
Now,
which there isn't, which is really
I
funny.
believe in the press week or somewhere on Twitter, Sandra spoke that there were some lines cut out. Of
course, she was live. This discussion. She went on Instagram live.
She went live.
Yeah,
and
love
she
it.
Said that
messy but perfect.
She said that if we have traitors in our group, that works to our advantage right now, right? Which little does she know?
I see 2 right there. I see 2 right there.
She's got 2 traitors,
and it is in her. This just shows like how good she is, because she can even see it in a way that even with people who could potentially eliminate her from this game, she can still move herself along by working the team and kind of like, because she's right. Mm-hmm. She's 100% right.
And then, Kate's like, this is the best thing I've ever experienced.
Kate is amazing. Yeah. Kate is like, I want to be here, but not play. I want to just eliminate people. I don't actually want to do the challenges or whatever. This is the part that I like doing.
I want someone to tell me
what to do.
Yeah, and I really think like Sheree is like the math meme moment. Like the numbers flying around her. And she's like,
like, okay, as long as it's not me, I got it. But that's the thing. You rally people for a cause. I mean, this is what Peter is doing too, right? With his Faithful Five. But it's because...
Peter versus Sandra.
Yes. But the thing is with Peter, by creating a group like that, you are creating an even bigger group on the other side that now has fully distrusted you. I mean, they come out of this being like, it's Peter. We're going to vote Peter out.
So, they say the leftovers have to prevail.
The leftovers. Oh, pour one out for the leftovers, please.
And then Miss Phaedra says, if Peter's the head traitor, let's take him out. And she points at everyone and says, Peter.
Peter?
And then she puts her hands over MJ's ears /head/hair and says, Peter, and shakes her head.
Oh my God. That's the thing. Okay. There's 2 great plays here, right? Sandra playing obviously the numbers, because ultimately she knows that there's a bigger chance that there is a traitor here. If not one, she at least thinks there's one, because if she believes Peter is one, she's like, then there's another traitor.
The other one
here.
is somewhere else.
Yeah. But she knows there's enough faithful in this group to be like, okay, it's Parvati, which that's probably she knows it's Parvati also. She thinks it's Peter and Parvati. So she's like, we have enough here to at least then be like, okay, let's easily switch it up and go Parvati. She always has the numbers on her side. And then Phaedra being like, yep, you're so right, Sandra. Okay, everyone in, it's Peter.
Yeah, let's all stack hands.
She is not leading. She is not drawing attention to herself. She can go into a banishment table and be like, I was just doing what everyone was saying. It was our best option at the time.
Well, they said it was Peter.
So do we think that Parv is going to benefit from this kind of like rallying that Sandra's doing?
I think yes, because it's just attention diverted away from her at this point. It's just a counter conversation to Parvati versus Peter. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think Parvati's in a place where she'll take any other main folk, like just anything to deflect energy and attention. That's what I think. What about you?
No, I mean, I think so for sure. It's like
she doesn't have a lot to go on right now.
I think she's going one step at a time right now.
Yes.
Her
survive the next
Peter
night
failed, and now this buys some time. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sure she was ecstatic though when Sandra was like, it's gotta be Peter, and she's like, great.
And then to see Phaedra just pile onto that and be like, Peter, let's do it. That's perfect for them.
It's great.
All right, 1, 2, 3, break. Peter.
It's Peter.
So then we hear about the mission, which is a little bit different than a typical. So
assemble outside, he said.
Yeah, so he's out now. This is a different coat, right? Because this is blue now, right?
Or is the net just added?
I think the net is just, that's how I interpreted it. Can we look at this side by side?
Can we look at?
Can I get a judge's ruling on that? I think it's the same.
Yeah, because of the same like little.
It just looks so green.
It's the lighting. Yeah, it's the lighting. Not winning any Emmys on that lighting.
So they place this netting over.
It's great. I mean, I've never seen this done before, but okay.
I mean, the netting is instant symbolism, right?
Oh.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Wow.
This is meta.
It is. This whole show, they're like, look at the headbands, look at the net.
Yeah.
We're here.
What tangled webs we weave.
What tangled webs we weave when first we choose to tell a fib. Okay, so the mission is that everyone in pairs will be carrying gold through the woods without getting caught. And it's a total of $25,000, but everyone has a different value that they're protecting and carrying. And as the pairs, they have to basically get to different crossroads or forks in the road where they have to choose one answer over the other. Yes.
I mean, this is Into the Woods.
It really is.
They're moving in pairs.
I'm gonna our side project is we get to cast
later.
We'll
Maybe at the end we
later.
can cast the pairs because I'm getting like some Baker's wife energy in there, but we'll talk about it later.
Oh, yes, Parvati's obviously Cinderella. Obviously
running away with John.
Oh my god, iconic. Unfortunately, Sheree is the stepmother.
Yes, 100%.
And Bergie is the steward. Okay, shut up.
Enough.
If it's a musical
enough.
theater podcast now, isn't there already one of those on this network?
Oh my god,
there are many.
Oh, which reminds me, Brandon, our next showgaze is.
I think I'm
dance.
supposed to coming up soon, right?
Yes,
I was booked for February,
yes.
so
So I will. We'll connect.
We'll work that offline.
Okay, so
we'll talk about that offline.
So we're going in pairs, and when they get to the forks in the road, they have to answer a question, and it's either one or the other. And if they get it wrong, one person has to like pick up a scroll. It's so stupid. They pick up a scroll, but they'll find out if they get caught in a trap. Basically,
if the scroll's in a pond of mud, then there might be a problem.
I don't know. I liked this mission.
I mean, it
thought
is
it was
fun,
great.
but like now trying to explain it, I'm like, why do they have to be one over the other? But whatever. If someone gets caught, then the other person can still keep going. But when both players are out, then you're out. And
no chance for the money.
No chance for the money.
I think it's great.
And if there is a completed pair there are two shields at the end on who makes it the fastest. So like if it was like between if they were all individually one person, they'll just say like whoever the top two fastest were.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So if there
were no completed pairs that finished, let's say.
Right. It was just about the timing, which made me think that they did this in individual runs, but even though it was being kind of edited as if they were going together, but then all the paths were the same. And it was about timing. So I think they just did it in.
And honestly, shout out to that production crew when they were like, okay, reset fleas.
All right, reset that net.
Reset net.
All right, report the tar.
Literally. Okay.
It was probably a long day.
Yeah. The pairs are as follows: Peter and Trishelle, MJ and Kate, Bergie and Sheree, Parvati and John, Sandra and Kevin, and CT and Phaedra. Of course. When they're like, okay, put yourself into pairs. And Phaedra just looks at CT and he just goes, how you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Very
They're
so hot. It's so hot.
I think we have that, don't we?
We have a shot of them standing after they get their...
with their money. There they are.
With their money. There they are.
They're so proud.
I mean, listen. You know I love a fun little like age gap.
I was gonna say a little like opposites attract.
Opposites attract.
This coupling has kind of become a meme too about.
I love it.
Like PTA parents and
yes, PTA.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Or CT's like a teacher at the school.
And she's the rich mom.
Oh
my god. There was someone made a fan edit. And I wonder
it's the one to the Bodyguard soundtrack?
Yeah.
Oh no, there was a new one this week.
There was a new one from this episode.
Like the romance edits of like the TV movie.
So good.
It's so good.
There's a Hallmark movie in there.
And honestly, Phaedra, get your coin, get your man. Okay, get it all.
Get the donk.
My favorite thing is they got the smallest little I don't know
the amounts, yes, because
they got the 500, and it cuts to Phaedra saying, "I can't even buy a pair of shoes for 500.
Yeah,
500 is
not a relatable moment.
Yes. Okay, so here they picked the smallest because I think just they were like, well, Phaedra probably won't be able to like run a lot, so let's just take that.
We won't risk her with a lot of money.
Yes, but then Peter and Trishelle take the largest amount, which is 10,000.
Because they've been doing great.
Because they are the lead. Yes, they're like the main characters in the film.
And this is why I think Trishelle is Little Red. With this attitude.
Oh, it is giving that. Yeah.
Anyways,
they are.
No one cares.
No one cares. So along the route, well, first of all, I'm so sad that I didn't take a screen capture of it, but it's not just CT's donk that I noticed in this episode.
Oh yeah, this one's
also all over the internet.
Burgalicious. And I emphasis on the delicious part. Juicy burgalicious. And then you know what we love about sweatpants? Mm-hmm. The thing we love about men in sweatpants.
He said it's red sweatpants season.
It's red sweatpants season, and you are getting a show from the front of the house and the back. Everyone was getting a view. And I was like,
for sure.
He said, "Welcome to my island."
Yes. And I said, I get it. I knew it. I knew it.
He can stay. Phaedra is just surrounded.
Yes, I know. Phaedra knows how to pick a man. Okay, she's got good taste. She's like, let me do this. So along the route, they're answering different questions. Stuff like, the first question was like, it was pretty hard because it was like, welcome to the Don McDerrick Woods. And the question was like, whose woods are these? Don McDerrick or Dare McDomick? Like, it
was so bad.
Everyone was like, it's either 50-50. There's no chance in hell.
And that's why we lose a couple right here.
Yes, absolutely. The first one, so we do lose Bergie and we do lose Peter. So we love it. We love men failing.
Bye, boys. Yeah, we do love men failing quickly, actually, like right away.
Yes. Trishelle is going on, and then Sheree, when Bergie falls in the tar, and Sheree just goes, oh, hell no.
She just runs up the hill and goes,
like, I'm
hell
out.
No. Because she literally is like, I have to do this on my own.
Yeah, she did not sign up for that at all.
I'm you know what? I am enjoying my time with Sheree. I hope she makes it to the very end because she is giving me entertainment.
I think it's likely.
I know.
Alan was on Watch What Happens Live this week, and one of the questions he got asked about the cast was, who are you most surprised is still here? He basically named like all of these faithfuls. He said like MJ, Peter, Bergie, Sheree. Sheree was the one that I think like everyone agreed.
Yeah.
We're all surprised, Alan.
Yeah. So the other teams make it through. CT and Phaedra are having their bodyguard moment. Obviously, CT leading the way for Phaedra. The second question was a visual question.
Yeah, about the round table.
Is it a sun or a moon in the middle? And you know what? I would have said sun because I was like, that makes the most sense. It's a spoke. It's a sun.
Yeah, it's symmetrical.
But then if I just spent like 5 more minutes thinking about it, I was like, oh, there's the phases of the moon at every interval.
Yeah.
Because I always see that.
I think I've ever looked closely
but Kate is
at the
right.
table.
Kate is like, we don't look from above, so I never know. So
yeah, I mean, I knew it because you see it from above every episode when they go, but I could see from the perspective of someone there in the room how it would be a harder question.
Totally. So we lose a few people here. We lose where are the names again? Hold on. Okay, we lose a few people here. We lose CT, unfortunately. We lose MJ, and Kate is so funny.
Well, CT sacrifices himself for Phaedra. I think that's important to know. And not
CT was like, let me go. I'll go. I'll go. And
I'll take this one if we're not sure. Yes. And then Sheree's out at this one too. Sheree. And MJ. There she is.
Listen, it is worth this show. However much money this show was it costs to make this, it is worth it by watching Sheree Whitfield from The Real Housewives of Atlanta get plucked up by a leaf trap in a net. Like this was like a Wile E. Coyote
I was
cartoon.
going to say, it's such a
so
cartoon
Roadrunner.
trap.
It's so good.
It's a booby trap.
It's a booby trap, and it's so good. The last question was Latin, right? What is the Latin in the kitchen?
The Latin phrase in the kitchen.
And this is when we lose basically all the other solos.
Mm-hmm.
So like we lost Phaedra, so she also got caught in
snatched up in the net.
Snatched up, and she's like, "Y'all better get me down." She's like, "Okay, you got your shot."
She is speaking to the producers directly,
literally looking at the cameraman. You got your shot. Now get me down from here. Phaedra is out. Kate is out. Kate was like, MJ is just relaxing in her little hammock, and she's like, well, at least I got to relax in a hammock.
Mm-hmm. She's like, I'll chill.
You're an icon. So good. And Trishelle gets caught. Mm-hmm. So we just have Parvati and John and Sandra and Kevin. They get the last question, and they're the last two.
Across the finish line.
Last two teams that make it, and Sandra and Kevin make it the fastest. It's very funny because Kevin is like, Sandra, come on, let's go.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't think Sandra's winning a lot of immunity idols out.
No, I don't think so. She said that this was her first time winning a shield, and I think on Twitter someone said this is the first time she won an individual.
That's what I was thinking, like winning a comp at all.
I think she found one, right? In Heroes versus Villains.
Yeah.
Historically,
winning an immunity necklace,
In the tribe immunity challenges, she would always sit out.
She would always sit out. Yeah, absolutely.
Didn't they make rules based on how often she was sitting out?
You have to alternate.
Yeah.
I think there's more. There's like nuances to
the original rule is every other competition when it was like every cycle.
Yes.
So every episode it reset because there used to be reward
immunity
and immunity. So you had to, one or the other. And they never changed that. So that meant like every immunity you could sit out.
You could sit to the same person out. Yeah.
But I think they recently changed the rule. So you can't do that anymore.
Whatever. It worked for her.
It worked for her, girl.
So
she
get your shield, Sandra.
Yeah.
She finally got her shield. It's so great. And everyone is, Parvati especially, is celebrating that Peter did not win a shield. Because she now is like, girl, you're done. You are done.
Or so we think.
So we get back to, and CT has now lovingly referred to, like, what is it, Queen's Court, or like the Queen's?
Queen's Corner.
Queen's Corner?
The Queen's Council.
Queen's Council, yes. So CT, I mean, like, I was actually not sure if he was going to bring up the, like, I was the only guy, obviously, in the billiards scene. But he kind of calls out the, like, I was in and all of that. And so now I'm kind of like figuring out, like, should I stick with that? Or should I kind of tell Peter that he's in the hot seat?
And I think that, and he's not in that group of 5.
No, he's not. But
his person who he has the most history with is. And I think that's where that's what
draws him in. He doesn't say it. That it's like,
but
it's
I think
because
Trishelle being over there is like telling, like just like sending something to him,
psychokinetically sending him signals that
he also seems to have a connection with John.
Well, yeah.
Yes,
obviously.
I do. I mean, CT knows that. I think he knows that Peter and John are faithful. That's what I believe. Because well, maybe not.
Well, I think because of the way Peter leaked, but then kind of vouched for him immediately. Yes. I think that's why I think that's also why he feels a little bit of loyalty to Peter, because leaking that, but not.
But then defending,
covering for him, could have put CT in some hot water. So I think maybe he also feels a little indebted to him. A
little bit, yeah. So Parv, Phaedra, and Kate, as CT call him, the Queen's Council, they're gonna banish Peter, and CT basically tells Peter, like, hey, you're on the hot seat tonight. And he's like, by who? And he doesn't, I don't think he even says, right? Like,
he doesn't get specific. He doesn't get specific. Like, they're all going to vote your name.
Yes, but it's you, girl. So Peter
This takes place in the armory, which we haven't seen this.
Yeah, we haven't seen that at all. Oh yeah, good combo here.
Oh my god, yeah. So Peter now starts to kind of backtrack. He's like, I think he realized that the numbers may be against him. He probably realized that he did more harm excluding than anything. So he brings in Parvati and Phaedra, and basically says, like, if there's a consensus on what's gonna happen tonight. And Parvati basically is like, just wait until the round table, because I think Peter even says like, well, maybe there's an opportunity for all of us to work together. And as soon as he says that, Phaedra's like, nope. Which I think goes with what you guys were saying earlier of like, this is Phaedra's strategy. It's like, I'm not a gamer.
Stay out of the game.
I'm just here. I show up to the banishment.
Then you're not on the hook for any
information. She gets all nervous. She says she doesn't like this type of conversation.
No.
And
which is very smart. I mean, Phaedra is basically playing like, I make all of my decisions on that round table. That's it. I'm gonna wait until
in front of others. So everyone knows what information I have. I don't want to be the holder of any information because that's gotten a lot of people in trouble.
Yes, and that's what saved her from Dan's attack. She was like, everything that I've done is in front of everyone, so I have never been.
Everything's above board with Phaedra.
Yeah. That's a lawyer, bitch.
Bitch! Yeah, thank you.
So good. So yeah,
that's a businesswoman.
Exactly. She's a lawyer and she helps people, have their life. Yes.
Yeah.
So funeral directress.
Continue on to their final.
It's wow.
Endeavors.
Talk about someone made for their show. She literally is like, nope, I don't want to be in here, so she leaves. And then Parvati basically says, if you think I'm a traitor, then why would you even want to work with me? It's just a lot of hullabaloo. They're trying to tell the audience to like, you don't know what to expect. Is it going to be Peter or Parvati? And then Alan says, we're going outside, bitch. We are going outside. And so everyone is like, is the round table outside today? What are you talking about? Everyone is wearing their coats. Everyone's wearing their coats and their boots. And we're going outside, bitch.
Why? We don't know. Was this planned? Was it not? Kind of like we were saying at the beginning of the conversation. Were we planning on this? I don't know. Also, we're sorry. We just got like a whiny old dog behind us today.
Do you put him in your lap or no? It's
oh no, that would be worse. That would be worse. I don't. Outside, and I think we're getting tribal council vibes from this.
Oh,
absolutely. We've got fire. We've got a big circle. I'm sure Sandra and Parvati are having flashbacks about this.
Right.
I genuinely didn't know what was going to happen. And I think that's why I was really
I didn't realize it was going to be about safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm trying to think of like, there have been games, like Big Brother's kind of challenges lately where you basically like pass along the safety.
Yes.
There's been some twists in Big Brother a couple seasons ago. They did a little bit of this kind of business in the reindeer games recently where basically you got to pick who was safe. And I think it's like why I like it is in this game up until this point, separate from just conversations, people haven't had to really put their strategy and relationships on the table. Mm-hmm. They, like you don't vote, like other than voting, you don't really have to go for people. You don't have to try and put people at risk. All you have to do is vote. Like you can get away with just voting, like Phaedra, for example.
Yeah, even like Peter pals. This is like this is new territory for Traitors.
And while I was annoyed that no one was going to get banished in this moment, because I do want to see someone leave, and like this is now an episode where basically we're not going to see anybody go in this hour, which drags things on a little bit.
Yeah.
I liked that there was another approach here to kind of make people put their cards on the table. I think it forces, strategy to come out. And I think it also can accelerate some things because people have to make a call and they can't hide. It's Phaedra again, for example.
Yeah. Without spoilers, I'm interested to see if this shows up in UK too.
Yeah. We haven't. I think I do know the answer to that based on Reddit, but we can save that for later.
I don't know the answer. We're still watching it.
Yeah, that is a good comparison of like what's planned or not, because those seasons were filmed back to back.
And what's interesting is that things tend to happen, like the same things tend to happen, but in different orders. Yeah. So sometimes you don't know.
So you got to imagine that this production team is just like every night being like, okay, we're going to do this one next. Like, look who's going to be here tomorrow.
It's one giant pin board with just ideas. They're like, okay, it's time. Let's do this one now.
Major whiteboarding session. So I guess Alan phrases it as they now have the power to change the course. And so what they're going to do is they're going to get to decide who is spared from murder. Mm-hmm. And at the end, there will be 5 people left without safety. So one by one, they're going to get to pass along the safety by lighting their torch. This is why it's a very tribal council, because in Survivor, fire equals life. We all know that. Yes. Without your fire, your time in this game is done. So Kevin and Sandra, because they had their shields, they're guaranteed to be safe, which is good. That's one thing I like about this game, is that if you get something that's safe, it's not messed with.
Yes.
And like
in the funeral march, right? Like they were like, you three already got your shields. Yeah, so
like
sit.
There's no shield nullifiers out there. There's no idol on an idol with a hat. Like there's none of that. It's like you're safe. And I do like the no frills approach of that. Agreed. What I also really liked about this moment is you've got two people from very obvious separate sides having to make a choice together. And I think that was the moment where I was like, okay, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen, because you've got someone like Kevin who up to this point we haven't seen playing very strategically. No,
he's just going with he's showing
up for meals and following along.
I'm sopping up this biscuits and gravy. Just tell me.
And you've got funeral potatoes. And then you've got Sandra, clearly a strong strategic player, well positioned in the game, not at risk right now. And so I just, kind of knowing that they were going to have to choose together, I started to think like, does Sandra take charge here? Does she take control of this moment? Because she probably can. Yeah. Does she quiet influence him from the back? Like, it's just good.
I was really afraid that she was going to cave in and pick someone from the other side, because it is like they are the true faithful. But then...
they really easily, I think it's like a safe bet.
Yes.
And it kind of went down. And then this also kind of mirrored a moment in Squid Game, The Challenge for me. I know you didn't watch it, but there was also like you basically had to like send safety down the line.
Okay.
And there was a really obvious alliance that was trying to protect each other. And so I think that's also why I'm just like really going to stand up for this challenge or this part, because you're set up the beginning of the episode with these two opposing sides. And then by picking Sheree, I think as an audience, then we're basically watching like, okay, are they going to keep picking each other? Are they going to really draw that line in the sand? Is someone going to mess it up? We don't know. So Sheree gets picked first, which is a super safe choice. Yes. Super safe. And as an audience member, you're thinking like, okay, she can pick someone from the billiard room. Or she could just do what she has been, which is making like no sense with her choices and just be like, Trishelle, like, she could just throw it to John.
Because Trishelle is pleading this entire time. She's like, I know, I need this. I'm like,
she's asking to be brought along to the reward, like at the challenge. Like, this is that moment where you're like, I haven't eaten in 12 days.
Please. None of us
been on
have
any rewards yet. Yeah, it's like, be quiet. No one's eating. It's fine. No one's brushed their teeth in a week. It's fine. So she picks Sheree. So Sheree gets to pass it on, and she chooses Phaedra, which is not a surprising choice.
No. Sheree is not playing. Okay, she is just a reflection of herself on this game.
Yeah, and then I guess you get this beautiful moment from Phaedra where she says, like, Sheree and I have had this long history. Like, I'm really emotional.
20 years.
20, yeah. It gives Phaedra this chance to like really appear grateful and not really like
vulnerability.
Yes.
Yeah. We love vulnerability.
What really sealed this for Phaedra was that Sheree said, I want people to not judge her based on like the shows that we do and really see her here as just like.
And I think because she just got dragged through the mud at that last round table, Sheree was like, let me stand up for you. It's really beautiful. And who is there to comfort her? None other than
C to the T. It's so good. Everyone on Twitter is like, they're having such a beautiful moment, but like Phaedra is a traitor, so she's gonna kill Sheree. It's so good.
I know. It's really beautiful. I mean, CT at the end potentially getting shocked by Phaedra as a traitor is gonna be it's probably gonna be. We say sure we're gonna be surprised by Sheree. No, we need to be surprised by CT.
You think it's CT? I think it's gonna be Bergie. Bergie's not gonna be able to trust another person ever again. I swear to God.
He's so young.
I know, he's so young and impressionable.
That's trauma, baby. So Phaedra gets to pick next, and who does she choose? And at this point, I was like, please pick CT. Please pick CT. Please. And she picked CT, which is good for so many reasons because they have this beautiful relationship. 1, 2. Stays on the billiard side.
Yes.
Call them the billiard babes. Stays with them. And then, even better, you get this forced moment from CT where he has to then decide, is he going to protect who?
Yes, totally.
his girl Trishelle.
And
so good.
And there's also like it's sealing it's the Suri with Andy and Quentin again. It's like, I'm gonna solidify that this person will swear that I am a faithful by the end of this game. Yeah.
And so
real quick though, MJ was super offended that she was not picked by Sheree or Phaedra. What is that?
You're not even friends with them.
You probably never met them until
you're adding no value to either of their games.
She was so mad. She's like, I'm just so disappointed. But then I think they do play it up, because then later in the bar she was like, it obviously sucks feeling like no one's gonna pick you.
Oh my god!
And you also got the Parvati moment where she was upset that.
Which, in no world, Parvati, you would think that Phaedra would pick you, because everyone hates Parvati.
No one's picking.
No one is gonna pick you, girl.
Yeah, Phaedra says, "I'll break it down for you later.
I'll coach you later in the turret."
Yeah, we'll have a we're gonna discuss this in our one-on-one.
Yeah,
we're not gonna do this in front of the team.
It's gonna be on our agenda. Okay,
yeah, we're not doing this in front of the team.
And we're gonna put this in our one-on-one.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you a direct message about this. Yeah. So
CT
Trishelle's begging, and CT has the opportunity to save someone.
Trishelle is even like, we know each other for 10 years, girl.
Yeah,
we have history.
This is the moment where I thought back to like episode, it was like 3 or 4 when they had that moment outside. It was like, maybe we're turning a new leaf.
We were like, something's gonna happen. They're tracking this.
Yeah, we're like telegraphing to this moment here, which we are.
That's a good point.
But CT picks John. Face crack again. Like, what? I don't know. He sells Trishelle. Trishelle looks so good.
Yeah,
but he
says it's not a death sentence.
It's not a death sentence.
Basically, it's like you'll still. So
well,
yeah.
CT knows, right? Like what he did. He knows that this is bad, but I think he's hoping that by picking John, who, like the charade, like, it's all understood. We all agree that John is probably the biggest person that is most likely 100% faithful.
Say it correctly. 100% faithful.
100%.
He didn't watch UK1.
Faithful.
Faithful?
100% faithful.
With an F, 2 F's. Faithful. Faithful. Yeah, absolutely.
And this
only
is
F's.
this
only
also
F's. Subtitle of this podcast.
This also like solidifies too that like CT isn't really in the billiards room.
He's
I think he's like
but he has good relationships with everyone in the billiards.
Yeah,
they would much rather trust him than anyone in the.
I think CT is a floater. He can go onto either side.
Exactly,
and he's got a life vest. Bitch.
He did. He got his life vest. He got his life flame. I think he. This was him trying, I think, to extend a branch to that faithful 5.
Yes.
So he picked John. Whatever. But that definitely, and so then there's one spot left. We've got Shrey, Phaedra, CT, and John are all safe, and there's one spot left. And so I was like worried we were going to get cliffhangered right here.
Me too.
Because they were really setting up.
It's so obvious it's going to be Peter. So if this was the cliffhanger, I would be.
Because who else would John pick? Because John is in that mentality of like, Peter is our leader. Let me protect Peter.
Well, he could have picked Bergie.
Sure, but Bergie's been safe before, you know? Bergie's already had his moment.
He's already been safe. The whole dupe, right? She'll dupe. And then also, Peter told him, he is confided in John. I think everyone has. That's true. But he really laid it on thick this episode that I don't think Peter didn't predict this was going to happen, literally light a fire. But he knew enough that I think to sow the seeds for have John to really trust him.
Yeah. So John picks Peter. So Parvati's plan is kaput. Yeah, cannot be murdered tonight, which is like a big blow. I guess we would say a big blow to the traitors. When that happened, I was like, "Oh, maybe I don't like this."
I know. Yeah, they're like, okay, then we're screwed because
But in let's zoom out a little bit, 10,000, feet up. Bird's eye. Good for the show. Bird's eye view. It's good for the show because it's like, okay, we keep these instigators in. There's drama to unfold. They're there's more that's going to happen. It's not yet, but something could still come from it.
So Valentina, you think I could go home tonight, but you think this was on purpose to save
go home tonight
to save Peter for a banishment. They want the Peter versus Parvati on the round table.
Peter. Life's not fair. That's what I want Phaedra to say on the last episode. I just want her to pull that sack of green dust out and say, Life's not fair. Oh, I'm calling the meme. I'm calling it now. Oh, gosh, that's a good moment.
Yeah.
All Stars 4 really was that girl.
Oh, yeah.
All Stars 4 was that girl.
And we all thought the Twinners was like, ugh, whatever. But they had good moments.
Nothing about the Twinners makes it the right season.
Yes. It was everything but the Twinners.
Yeah.
So
Gia
what
Gunn
you're gonna do is not.
Yeah,
no,
and that's the one we're gonna get back on season 3 is Gia Gunn. So I really think All Stars 4.
You're really manifesting Gia.
And then next season we're gonna get to bring all this back up.
Yes, can we get Gia and Laganja?
Oh my god.
Season 3.
I want the dolls. I want if it's just all dolls. Peppermint is like your own because you ousted me as the first one, you're only casting dolls.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Peppermint suddenly becomes the host. All right. Save it for the fantasy cast episodes.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
so Peter's safe. Boo. Whatever. And so basically, Peter. Do we get the little reactions on Zoom on here?
No, I'm not using my Mac camera.
Oh, never mind.
Unfortunately.
It's okay. So that means basically who's up for banishment or murder tonight is MJ, Trishelle, Parvati, safe, Fergie, and Kate. So
here right now, there's no good option, surely.
I do think there is. So we right before this is over, we get one important confessional from Sandra where Sandra says maybe Peter is a faithful because she noticed during this moment that Peter was really sweating it. She said Peter looked nervous. He was like kind of shaky. He was breathing. Maybe he was breathing heavy. I don't know. We're going to go back to episode 1. Asthmagate again.
You know, one thing, this is kind of a tangent, but one thing I noticed when I was getting the screenshots for this episode is at the challenge when they're all standing there after they ran through the forest or whatever. Peter is like shivering.
Yes, he is.
He's like his teeth are like
chattering.
I
think he probably went first and had to wait for every other pair.
Because him and Bergie were like fully covered in mud. They had to like wash off, but then wear the clothes probably that they were still wearing. So he is freezing.
He is. Maybe he runs cold. Maybe he was cold out here this night too.
She's tracking. She's tracking.
So again, MJ, Trishelle, Parv, Bergie, Kate up for or not safe. Take Parv out. So basically, the options for murder tonight are MJ, Trishelle, Bergie, and Kate.
Yeah.
Not a lot of great options, but there might be a way out in there.
Yeah.
And between this kind of tribal council and turret time. The only thing that really stood out to me is like I think we get a lot of fallout about the CT and Trishelle of it all.
It's almost all of that.
It's pretty much.
I do think that that's telling us something about what might happen as people who watch a lot of reality TV when a story starts to
unravel. It's gonna pay.
There are a lot of little Easter eggs in this episode that leading me to believe it's gonna be Trishelle.
Yeah, it might be Trishelle.
It might be Trish. Yeah.
The whole thing, like this is not your death sentence.
Yeah, and Trishelle
telegraph.
Yeah, so basically, like, we can get to that. So MJ tells Trishelle, like, let it out. Tell CT how you're feeling. We do get some kind of weird conversations here where they're like, no, CT, come in here and tell Trishelle why you did that. Like,
and then they leave. They're like, come in here.
Bye, we're gonna leave. Like, MJ's gonna walk out. So we get that. I think like Trishelle's got her like, so sad. We're gonna bookend Trishelle's experience on this series crying, which is appropriate. She thought CT was her brother in the game. And we've been talking about this kind of for a while, that they have a lot of history. Mm-hmm. So that's also what tells me, like, I think that's kind of what's going to happen. And my thought here is kind of before we get to turret time, my thinking was it would be smart to murder Trishelle because there is that, like, there's that seed about CT having the intel on the shield from the last episode. So there's that. CT didn't pick her when he could have. So I think there's like, if there's an obvious out from this murder, it's pin Trichelle's murder on CT.
CT. Oh,
it's obvious, but we've been playing a lot of obvious games, so that's kind of I think that is Parvati's best option.
There's
here.
no reason MJ. If they kill MJ, they
At
would
this
be like.
Point. And we already had the MJ murder fake out during the funeral episode, so like, that's why people are like,
MJ's
no one's thinking about her either. It would just confirm that she's a faithful. Like, that's all it would do.
Yeah.
I think Parvati and Phaedra are in a position, they're on the defense and they have to deflect. And so they need to make moves where that can be explained really easily without a lot of like explanation on their part. That would be really obvious. So that's kind of my thought there.
I didn't think about that pin. That's good. That's smart.
Yeah. So we get turret time after that. So time for bed. We do get some good bed shots. I don't think we got...
the Traitors needs to sell a teddy
Bergie
bear.
and his bear.
Bergie, they
Bergie's
need
bear.
to sell Bergie Bear.
They need to sell Bergie Bear at Build-A-Bear.
They need
Build
to
a
sell
Bergie
Bergie
Bear.
Bear at Build-A-Bear.
Build a Bergie Bear.
I'd go for a Parv Bear.
With a headband.
With a head. Well,
The
optional
headband, for
accessories.
sure.
So you can get the headband. You can get the Ed Hardy
The
shirt
cloak.
that MJ's wearing.
You would get a Trader's cloak for sure.
Oh,
The green Trader's cloaks.
Totally.
I think we have a listener who would be into that.
Yeah. Come on, Peacock. Come on, Peacock.
We need to up the merch game.
Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
A Bergie Bear would sell, even if Bergie just wants to run that for himself. He's like, hey, I'm selling I designed a bear and proceeds go to whatever. The girls would eat it up. Because he and this teddy bear is so cute.
Who do we think his like charity would be?
Birdies?
Yeah, who would
Probably like, he gives me Special Olympics.
Something very
He's very
straightforward.
caring in that way. Or like Invictus
Like Toys
games.
for Tots.
Yes, Toys for Tots.
Yeah, very that. Very simple. Anyways,
That's smart.
so
That's smart.
we got turret time.
This turret time is so
Yeah,
funny.
it's really good.
I have to.
Face journey. Oh, my gosh.
This is so good.
It's so good.
Phaedra, is like, you've got to stop acting like an ice princess. You've got to stop doing this. And then she does the impression of Parvati.
And then Parvati responds.
And then Parvati does exactly
I
the
know.
same face
exactly
back.
the same faces.
So good.
It's
Phaedra literally goes, "Are you a Iron Maiden or a Ice Princess?"
I thought she says you got to stop being a mean girl.
Yeah, she does say that.
It's so
There's
good.
so many little
And
ones.
there's too many. Yeah. Like, you think Phaedra's waiting outside to walk in and she's like, what am I going to say
What am I
today?
going to say today?
Like, she's got a little book.
I also
She's
believe
like,
that she's just this good that it just comes off the tongue.
she's a lawyer. She's just like,
She's got the line.
Phaedra,
She's telling stories.
after this whole thing of like, you gotta be nicer, and Parvati,
I am nice.
Parvati literally goes, "Okay." They hate each other so much, and I love. This is when they start spread like the seeds, right? Like, because they've said it in Talking Heads. I don't think I can fully trust my other traitor.
Yeah,
and you feel
and it's all they've got is each other at this point.
Know.
There is a great line that I think was written for you where Phaedra says he acts like he's in the mafia, and it's like, does she not know that this is? She probably doesn't know that this is mafia, which is fine. That's that is no shade to Phaedra at
or anyone
all. Like,
know
for the record, no shade to Phaedra, but it is it's just like a perfect line because this game is based on, as we know, the game of mafia.
It's so good.
And so basically it's like, who are we going to murder? We've only got 4 choices, and it's really down to MJ and Trishelle. For Trishelle, like the case for Trishelle, like I've already shared what I think like strategically it is. Yeah. Their kind of conversation is like, Trishelle's basically part of that faithful 5. So like we need to cut the numbers. And if that conversation with Sandra had any impact, this is what they need to do. They need to do this.
Them.
MJ is a voting number for them. Do not murder MJ.
Please.
Do not murder MJ. I want
out.
Ed Hardy to stay. I am in the past telling them this.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Please.
So the rationale for MJ, which I'm hoping is just a misdirect, is like she's never going to be a shield. She's never going to be like a bigger threat. She's never going to be someone we can hide behind. No one's ever going to think
she's
just dead weight.
Yeah.
She's just dead weight. So like, let's throw her off. Like, whatever. She's not in the in crowd. So maybe you could pin it on that side because she's not, and she was being awkward with them. And so maybe they could say, well, y'all didn't want her in the room. So maybe that's why you got rid of her, because she was on to you or something. I still think it needs to be Trishelle.
I'm gonna be so disappointed if
if
MJ
it's
walks
Trishelle, I'm
in.
gonna be disappointed. I mean, if it's MJ, I'll be
MJ,
disappointed.
yeah.
Yeah. So quick vote. It's like this is like the Oscars. Who do you want to win and who will? Like, I want it to be Trishelle, and I think it will be Trishelle. What about you?
Same.
Trishelle. You? All right, locked in. 6
She's
for
locked
Trishelle.
in. We'll find out.
All right, we'll reveal that next week. But I mean, we have a good setup for next week. I think.
Yes.
I know y'all didn't like the setup of this episode.
You know,
but
you turned me around on it. There was a lot of drama here.
Okay, I also saw the girls online say that. Did you notice that they're not showing previews for the next episode?
They learned with Drag Race that you can't because the girlies will make outfit charts and then they will know who is there and they will be click
counting
count,
confessionals. Yes,
counting confessionals.
They counted. That's everyone on that round table.
Infographics will be showing up. TraitorSUSstats.com on Instagram. Like, you can't be doing that.
Traitors.statistics.
TraitorSstatistics.us.
Okay.
Traitor stats.
Well,
okay.
Brandon, take us home on your number one segment.
Alan's looks this week. Okay, I forgot about it. Yes. We're doing the paper doll again. We start with one, we add. I will go first this week and say that my like the piece I love the most is the netting during
Absolutely. Same.
Because you convinced me of the symbolism. I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
So thank you. But it's unexpected. So I'm going to go with the netting.
Okay. I mean, I like the netting, but I'm going to go with the simple breakfast look. I like the suit. I like the shoes. I like the beanie.
Mm-hmm.
I am
gonna wear a beanie like that.
I know, me too. I literally.
So
I have one.
Watch us show up next week. Yes. Bring a beanie next week.
Hey guys.
Yes.
What's your Alan look for the finale?
I'm also picking the netting. Also, just is it a shawl? Is it just it drapes over? Like, how did you?
I think it's just like a fix. It's costuming.
It's cunty. You know, it's kind of cute.
It's very that. It's CVNT for sure.
Yes.
I do like the embroidered trench.
We've seen it before.
We've seen it before, but I just think it's worth noting that we like it. So
AC,
it's a recurring character.
That pretty little monogram on there.
Oh, what a pretty little monogram.
What a pretty little monogram. Okay, girlies. Okay, Joes. Who are we most faithful to? To recap, last week we said Sandra, Parvati, Phaedra. I said Parvati. Joe had
Sandra.
Joe.
Jeffrey Joe.
Joe. We're all Joe. Jeff said Sandra, and
Brandon
Joseph picked Phaedra.
Mm-hmm.
I'm staying the same yet again. I am parked on Sandra until otherwise further notice. I am Phaedra parked on Sandra.
Phaedra parks on. I was gonna say you're parking and barking, but in this house you are tonight.
I'm joining you on that parking spot.
Oh, it's stacked. Stacked
parking now. Yeah,
I have
like pool balls in the table.
That's right.
From the amount of brain rot that I have from competitive reality shows, I know that if they're planting a seed, they are they have to, the show in completion has to track a clear path for the ultimate winner. And this billiard scene is at the right moment.
You're right.
Yeah, this is the coming of Sandra.
Yeah, you this is not going to happen. That billiards moment does not happen in isolation. It's going to be like a flashback. It's going to be it's a very important scene. From a producer Joe standpoint, as you are, I can definitely see that. I think that's valid.
But who are you picking, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm still sticking with Phaedra.
I mean, I want it to be Phaedra.
Yeah,
I want it.
It's not right now about me like believing she's gonna win. It's about her performance and her contribution, and like we talked about tonight, her strategy, like her. I don't play in front of other people. I do everything in public. You can't pin anything on me. It's effective and it works, and she delivers the best lines every episode.
Absolutely.
And so for that, I think she's bringing the combination of like the camp and production, that the performance that this show needs. And enough strategy to keep her going. And I think what she is doing so well is she is waiting and watching for the other traders to just mess up.
I know.
And I think that that's brilliant because
that's the way to go.
She like as a traitor, it's easy to get drunk with power. I think we see it in a lot of the other versions
Girl,
of the show.
entire first season.
Yeah. And
even
so
the international season,
and the
when
way
you become too loud, it's a problem.
Yeah, and Suri did the same thing where she was like, I am quiet power. Quiet power. And I think Phaedra embodies a lot of that same
I am
approach.
here. I'm not making a wave, but I am present and still playing.
Yeah,
actively.
and so that's why I am parked on Phaedra Parks.
Parked on
I am Phaedra
Parks.
parked.
Yeah, you're Phaedra parked, bitch.
I will. Phaedra parked, bitch. That's it.
Amazing. Well, that's
What?
another episode. I hope we get.
We have a review.
We have a review.
We
on
do?
Apple Podcast.
Oh my
I would like to
God.
I think you should read it. I
Okay,
think
let
you want
me
to
do
read
it.
it.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Yes.
read it, and then can you check and see if we have any comments to read?
Yes, on the
On
Tube.
YouTube this week. Yeah.
There's
Okay.
one.
Oh, we do
There's
have some we need to
definitely
talk
one
about,
that
yeah.
we could read.
All right.
Yeah.
Audience moment.
Okay, so we're
Okay.
gonna start with Apple Podcasts.
Okay. Oh my God! I just saw what it is. That's so
My
funny.
Joe is this pod from Casey and the Bear.
Oh, a
sound like
lovely
her.
fan. Yes.
I remember her.
I think
Yeah.
I might have met her once.
I think at a meet and greet, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
She
yeah.
came
It was-
with
I
her
think it
mom.
was-
She's 16.
I think it was October 2019. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Pre-COVID.
For
Yeah,
sure,
yes,
pre-COVID.
yeah.
Okay, so Casey and the Bear says, our Trader Joe's bring the receipts and screen caps every week. I have been enjoying the takes of RJ, Brandon, and Jeff, and also enjoyed schooling them on the challenge. Thank you for that.
Yes.
I am always interested in hearing their takes. A good pod to listen to after watching the Traitors and getting ready for next week's ep.
She actually said a great pod.
great pod, I'm
Yeah, let me
sorry.
correct that for the record.
Don't want to undersell it. So if you would like to have your review read on the pod, please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts.
On Apple
Or just a
Podcasts.
rating on Spotify. They don't do
I don't think they do
reviews.
comments or reviews on Spotify, do they?
No.
No,
They do
it's
ratings.
just
We're not
ratings.
a Spotify household, clearly.
Yeah. Oh, I'm on the first episode. Sorry.
We have some good comments this
We've
week,
got
right?
some great YouTube comments, girlies. The Joes are living. Okay. Rocky says, didn't expect y'all to read my comment. Justice for Janelle. So happy Dan is finally gone, but my goodness, I don't get why people didn't banish him earlier. We said in the episode, like, it feels like it would have been so obvious. I think people need to come in with a producer hat that should make it obvious who gets to be chosen. Oh my God, this is so long. Okay.
Producer hat.
Producer hat. Rocky thought that Peter was going to say yes. So there you go. I can see why you're calling the faithful five the nerd herd, but I think it's pretty smart. If I was a traitor, I'd want to kill them off, but I think that risks you being exposed. Parvati is so vocal and on their clique. So what you going to do, Parv? Kill them? We still haven't seen the scene of when Phaedra tells off Peter. So either he stays as a faithful and is sus of her, or he's trying to betray her and she's not having it. And Rocky says that I'm going all in on Sandra winning. As much as I love Phaedra, I want to see this game won by a faithful because the traitors inherently have too much power, which is the main criticism of the show.
Sure.
Have they won? Have us a faithful one in your
UK, yes.
UK? Okay.
International season that we've watched, we have seen a faithful win. Right?
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Adam just texted me that Larsa and Marcus broke up.
Oh my gosh! Breaking news!
Breaking
Pod-related
news.
news.
He just
On
sent
the,
it to
they're
me.
dropping that on the Super Bowl, so it's buried in the news. Oh, that is producer
That
hat
is
right there.
producer hat,
Wow.
girl. Oh
The other thing that broke before this that we didn't even get to talk about is the Wicked trailer, but we'll talk about that elsewhere.
Larsa deleted
Anyways,
all the photos of Marcus from her grid, unfollowed him, and
my
posted a poll on her story. Should your friends unfollow your ex, yes or no? Larsa!
Wow, messy.
And the new season is literally about to start. Of Real Housewives of Miami.
of Miami. Ooh,
Producer hat. But they're
Producer
not
hat.
performers.
no,
It's
we
not a
don't
performance.
perform.
This is our
We don't
lives.
perform.
There's a comment that says someone who understands how swift Phaedra had to be in that moment in the round table had to adjust in mere seconds to his well-prepared ? Attack and easily deflected it, ultimately leaving him looking like a fool, all because he was butthurt. Kate co-signing was just icing on the cake.
The Kate cosign was perfect.
The Kate cosign is perfect. And then finally, why is the guy in the middle a hot version of Groucho Marx? Groucho Marx!
We
Hunk.
did not. Oh,
That was before his current facial hair situation.
I know. Maybe that inspired the.
That inspired you were like, let's go full Groucho, bitch.
Kind of. If I was gonna go full Groucho, I would have gone like flat. So maybe I will for one of the other future episodes. But thank you to that listener.
Thank you.
We love the comment.
We love
I
the
think
comments.
I'll take a hot Groucho Marx, right?
Yeah.
You'll take a hot Groucho Marx.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
But
my
please,
God.
we read the comments, so please leave them.
Please leave them.
My ego needs it.
Yes.
Oh.
That's why we're here, girl. That's why we're
Yeah.
here. Well, amazing.
Good episode.
It was a good episode. You really
was-
turned it around on me.
Yeah.
It was a good
Yay.
episode. Okay. I just need some. I need some deaths to happen.
Need
I
some
need murders.
Mardar.
Yeah, we need some Mardars.
Murders and banishment.
More doors.
And I think maybe it's in the next episode, but I think we're gonna get this Parvati Peter.
I don't even know what this is. I don't remember. It must have been
Parvati
in the
Peter?
preview. Vader
Parvati-
Peter?
no,
Parvati.
Parvati Peter.
Parvati and Peter.
Just
They're-
like
No,
they've
Parvati.
been going
but
at
there
it,
was
yeah.
yes, because it's still in that first trailer where Phaedra still says the like, this ain't the Bachelor. So I wonder if maybe in the swoop to get for Parvati, that's when it's like, and Dan was probably right. Phaedra, you're also a traitor. So we'll see.
Good episode.
Good episode.
Yay, all right.
All right,
kids.
girls.
All right, Joes.
All right, Joes. Stay faithful, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Discovering voices, building worlds. The Ampliverse.